Hey everybody, this is Boxies. This is the show where we talk sports with comedians. I hope you all noticed that picture was dope. Just want y'all to notice that picture was dope. First up, let me bring in my man, Mr. known as Talent. You noticed that picture, right? Of me, right? It was dope picture, right?
Yo, let me tell you something. Yeah, crazy. You know what I mean? You should model.
How you doing today, sir?
I'm good, brother. I can't complain, man. You know, the sun is shining. Woke up to a beautiful day.
Mm-hmm.
Last night, we had the autism fundraiser in Jersey. That joint was stupendous, sold out. And more importantly, I had 8 comedians with me. And 8 for 8, they ripped that room. 8 for 8.
Wow. If one of them bombed, would you actually said?
It would have been 7 out of 8. But that's what you're looking for. But it went 8 for 8. I was like, I can't ask for no more.
Next up, my man Fig. Fig, what's going on, bro? How you doing, sir?
Hey, man, I'm doing good, man. Frank, I'm so happy that you changed the picture. You went from model to hostage status.
Model, I think you said that reverse, but all right, I'll let that one go.
No, the model was the picture. Right now, you are hostage.
Okay, I got you. That joke kind of went over my head. Rodney Perry, how you doing, sir? Looking like Stevie Wonder. I like those glasses. How you doing, Rodney?
What up?
I guess you all
right. Hey, Frank.
Go ahead. Hey, Rodney looked like the road manager for the Ohio Play.
I was going to say he looked very superstitious.
We need 2 sweets.
We're off to the races on Friday already. Mike, how you doing?
I'm good. Rodney looked like that scary dude that goes, "Let me get 2 smoothies."
With the thing in the background too. I see. All right, so let's get ready to jump into the show, man. First story I'm gonna throw out there, man. I don't even know if you guys peeped this, right? But yesterday, the Wall Street Journal, a couple other people put this news story out. The news story basically is about the Raiders owner Mark Davis. He basically said about Colin Kaepernick, "Hey, we'd welcome on our team with open arms if he'd want to come on," which is kind of crazy, Talent, because a week ago, Colin Kaepernick sat down with the dudes from I Am Athlete, which is Ocho Cinco, Brandon Marshall, Pac-Man Jones, talking about that. They worked out with him, everything else. They did a whole thing. They sat down with him, got a 2-minute interview. Actually, more like 5 minutes. He was talking about how good he is, how good he felt he could come back. Last night, the story comes out about the Raiders owner Mark Davis. I didn't see it anywhere on any NFL orientated, you know what I mean? Relationship type of network. I didn't see it on NFL Network. I didn't see this story on ESPN. I didn't see this on the Wall Street Journal. I saw it on Now Democrat. Like, I saw it out there, you know what I mean? But I didn't see it on sports related networks that have a relationship with the NFL. What's your thoughts on this, T? Talk to me. You tell me what you think on how shaky this must sound to you.
Yeah, very shady. I'm glad you said that because that's very important, that this is something that's out there, but on their media outlets that they have a little hand in controlling, they consciously made a decision that we're not going to talk about this. This is this is like your parents going to tell you about the birds and the bees. Don't say nothing.
Yeah.
We're not talking about nothing, protection, girl, boy, stick, nothing. So we know what happened. We know what's going to happen. It's inevitable, but it's funny. But see, that's why you need a diverse clump of media outlets. That's why I can't just be one thing, because people are going to say what they like, and they're going to stay away from what they don't like.
See, that's a great point that you say that, because at the end of the day, my thought is this, Fig, is that if Colin Kaepernick has the ability to come back, and the ownership says there's an owner who says he can come back, there must be 31 other owners who he must have said this to, and they're like, yeah, nah, we don't want to, because it ain't on any other NFL network, related type of thing. That's the way I look at it. I mean, what do you look at it? How you see it, Fig?
Well, listen, I just assume that he's a lone wolf right now, sort of like Rooney, the owner of the Pittsburgh Steelers, coming out and having the whole Rooney rule. I mean, clearly, all 32 owners don't feel exact same way, or at least he has possibly changed his mind about Colin Kaepernick's ability to play or to be an NFL quarterback. I don't see any reason why he wouldn't. But one thing that I will say, we do need our own media outlets, because our narrative is always presented a little skewed.
So Roger
Always.
Perry, is it because of he came out to say this so he could take his team off the table with the Brian Flores lawsuit? Because we know Brian Flores is suing all the entire NFL and a couple of specific teams. Could that be the reason why this is lining up and the reason why he came up? Because the Brian Flores thing is picking up steam too, Rodney. What's your take?
No, you still gonna catch a brick with Brian Flores, but I mean, it seems like this is the one team that's even acting like that they want to dignify what Kaepernick has been doing with a real job. But the fact of the matter is, nobody has hired him yet, and it looks like just posturing to me. I don't foresee Colin Kaepernick getting a job in the NFL ever.
Wow. See, that's the way I looked at it too. But Mike Sean, if he was to come to an NFL team, Derek Carr and the Raiders is not a bad spot for him to land if he could even get past that and the coaches agree. Because when the owner says, "Hey, we'll take him," I think it's fair to say he's going to end up being on the Raiders if he really means what he says, right, Mike? And if he does, I think the Raiders is not a bad spot for Kaepernick to be in battle for the job. What you think, Mike?
Marketing wise, whose jersey would be hotter than Kaepernick's name on the back of a Raider jersey?
Right.
No
like
doubt.
marketing wise, this is brilliant. Number two, this is Al Davis's son. I'm going to make a wild prediction. If Al Davis was alive and was an owner, Colin Kaepernick would be a starter for the Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
I think there are more people in the NFL who are like, wow, we really could use this guy as a backup because we know the normal quarterback ain't making it the entire season. They just can't say it. But owners, I think Pete Carroll really wanted to give him a shot. But I think the ownership in Seattle was like, yo, shut up. You don't own this, and this is not. You don't got to deal with Roger Goodell and my boys as the other owners. I think there's a chance he could play for the Raiders. I think honestly, when it comes to making money, that is a marketing genius move for a guy who may not even see the field, and still you might have a stadium full of people wearing Kaepernick jerseys.
You know, that's a great point you said there, Mike, too, because if they do pick him up, that will be the highest selling jersey of all time. I'd be willing to bet. All time. It would eclipse Brady's run. I think it would run. I mean, honestly, people would wear. I think people would wear the jersey who don't even watch the NFL games. You know what I mean? Just to stand up and make a statement for Colin. That's where I look at it. I was like, yeah,
I'd buy one.
Yeah,
I'd buy one for sure.
I probably would too. I'm not even a Raiders fan. I probably would too. You know, that's the reason why I think it'd probably be the biggest selling jersey of all time, because people who aren't even fans of the Raiders would buy one just to make a statement for Colin Kaepernick. I mean, if I'm wrong, y'all tell me, but that's where that's where I'm tripping. All right, so I'm gonna jump in a little bit about this NFL draft, and I'm gonna go back to the NBA and then come back to the NFL draft. So let me get this thing started right now. So here's what we're talking about right now. The first thing up is obviously. I want to say something about before the NFL draft. I jump into the NFL draft. There was a couple of surprises last night, right? Talent. Couple surprises. The big surprise, I have to say, because the NFL draft happened, we were obviously talking about yesterday, we're going to be some big moves happening, right? I'm watching the draft, T. I'm watching, no big deal, everything else. Next thing you know, I come across to see the ticker tape saying the Philadelphia Eagles acquire A.J. Brown. I was like, what? The Eagles got A.J. Brown from the I had to read it. I was like, that can't be right. But yeah, it looked like the Titans traded A.J. Brown. Now, that was one trade that happened. There was another trade that happened. But I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to ask all you guys this question. What I see happening right now is that if you have a big star wide receiver, T, who's expecting to get paid a lot of money, they have to ship him out because they cannot pay the QB the same amount of money. You follow what I'm saying? Like right now, I'm not seeing a big team. Like Lamar Jackson is still on a small rookie deal.
Right.
Then you got a dude. Then they ship out his wide receiver. You see the trend that's happening here, T? So I'm saying, are you surprised where the NFL is drifting with these overpaid wide receivers and these QBs? And the big surprise, obviously, that Eagles got A.J. Brown from the Titans, bro. Huge. What you think, T?
I'm not surprised. I think the game is changing where every few years they get an idea collectively and you see a trend of movement. So right now, the new style is loading up on receivers like two teams are trying to have two high profile receivers. When, back in the day, you had one great receiver and like two okay guys and a good tight end. You had a good team. Now it seems like the trending towards we need two powerhouse receivers on the team, especially if you don't have the greatest quarterback. You know what I mean? So that trend is looking like for the last few years, like that's the new trend right now. Like NFL does that all the time. You know, you have a running back trend, you have a tight end trend, you have a quarterback trend. You know what I mean? Like defensive trend. Like when Dion played the game, cornerback was a big trend. Everybody wanted that good cornerback. So for years we talked about cornerbacks.
Right.
You know what I mean? And Revis and the, you know what I mean? The Shermans and all that. Now I think this is the new trend.
All right, so Fig, he signed, he got traded to go in there, but in the stipulation of him getting traded, he knew he's getting 4 years, $100 million. He's going to get ready to average $25 million a year. But this dude right now is getting ready to hook up with the young QB. Now the QB now, obviously.
Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, Hurts end up, now he's getting ready to sit there and have himself a QB. He's on a rookie deal. A.J. Brown's over there. He goes over there for a $25 million deal, $25 million a year deal. Do you see Philadelphia being able to make some moves with A.J. Brown coming in with Jalen Hurts, or Jalen Hurts the QB to be able to pair him up with? What's your thoughts on this?
I think Talent Man had his finger on the pulse of what's happening because you can't. It almost seems like the way the salary cap is structured, you can't pay a quarterback an astronomical amount of money and then have high-profile receivers on the same squad. So since Jalen Hurts is still on his rookie contract, then the Philadelphia Eagles can afford to pay a couple of receivers, which could probably help Jalen Hurts in his maturation, in the NFL. And with that addition, it probably makes the Philadelphia Eagles probably the best in their division right now with, the Giants and the Commanders and Dallas, of course. They probably will be able to make some noise.
Yeah, but at the same token, if you're a team like Cincinnati Bengals, Rodney Perry, and you're sitting there, you got Joe Burrow on one side, you got Jamar Chase on one side. The way I see it getting ready to happen, I don't see how in the future that you're going to be able to keep both with the way this. My man, Business Bully, has joined the conversation. Let me bring him in first real fast. Dave, how you doing, bro? How's everything? Okay, he got his Eagle. I'm going to come to you with this Eagles question real fast. I'm going to come to you. But back to Roddy. If you're Jamar Chase, if you know you're going to get paid, you know you're going to want that $25 million a year thing, right? Cincinnati Bengals fans got to be worried too because they're looking at the Eagles happening with this Eagles situation, right, Rodney? You see it's happening. You see what's happening, right, Rodney?
No. I mean, what's happening is what's always happened. They promise money that never gets realized, right? So whether you're a quarterback or running back or wide receiver, what you see time and time again in the NFL is they go, okay, we got this deal. It's in black and white, but it's not a good deal. I mean, these guys are if you're not guaranteed a certain amount of money, then that's not the money. And so I wonder why the players haven't kind of realized this, or I'm sure Mike Sean could speak to this as far as like I'm not impressed. I mean, they put this guy on the chopping block because they didn't want to pay him his money. Period. Right. And they go with a young boy that's his same skill set, and they put him in the game, put him on the field. He ain't never played it down. So at the end of the day, these guys are signing these deals that just never get realized, and I think it's a sad thing.
Mike, I'm gonna ask you this. I think it hurts the team if you sign. I mean, obviously the wide receivers want to get paid. Obviously, that wide receiver has to get paid and everything else. But also, in the same token, you're kind of hurting your team because you can't pay everybody all their top. You just can't do it. I don't think, especially the way the team is structured, that unless this upcoming season with the salary cap thing going on and everything else, they figure out a way to raise the salary cap, which is
they pay the quarterback. They pay the quarterback though.
Yeah, they do. But that's why I'm saying that's why the situation you're having what you're having. But before I speak, Mike, what's your thoughts on this, man? Because it seems like troubled waters for everybody coming down the pipe. Mike.
This is why the guys who the names never get mentioned, who are so important, are general managers. The general managers has to make a decision with A.J. Brown and with Tennessee going, this is his last contract. So the Eagles are taking a chance. Like, he's a solid, very good receiver, but he's on the downcline of his career. Like this is it. This is his last. So they're making a run at him. Even his stats were very good: 63 receptions, 869 yards, 5 touchdowns. Not a number one. They guaranteed him $50 million, but he's not a number one receiver. They have their number one receiver. It's an offensive league. All the rules have been like slided to every wide receiver possible, and these guys are just getting bigger and stronger, and they still get the calls. But as a general manager, you saw it with the Giants. The Giants just told Daniel Jones, we not signing you for that 5th-year option.
Right.
You're going to have to prove it. Jalen Hurts right now has one season to prove this year with these 2 wide receivers that he's going to be the starting quarterback, or the Eagles are jumping in the draft, and that's why they have those draft picks for next year, and they're going to draft themselves a quarterback. The most boring job and the most complicated one is that general manager trying to figure out how am I going to spend this salary cap properly, and who are going to be the casualties, and who am I going to get killed for letting go because of the name. So you're going to have to let people look. Kansas City let Tyreek Hill go because he's like, we know he's dope, but we got to balance this budget to find out how we can still make this team qualify or challenge for a championship. We can't invest all our money on 1 or 2 players. The Dallas Cowboys is another reason why they're dropping people too. Next year, they take a $50 million hit against their salary cap because of the Dak Prescott contract.
Right, but open up the door. It's exactly what Mike said, Bully. This opens up the door for what really is happening, because Tyreek Hill set the market right this year with the $27 million contract, and right now that is the reason why Philly was able to do what Philly's able to do with Jalen Hurts. Now they ended up getting a gift that landed right in their lap. But as a Philadelphia Eagle fan, you can't tell me that you mad. Obviously, with Jalen Hurts now with AJ Brown, y'all got a tight end. Y'all got other 2 young. Y'all had a rookie. Y'all drafted a rookie wide receiver last year. That boy's bad too. I mean, y'all are looking kind of stacked. There'll be no excuses for the NFC East if y'all don't beat the Cowboys this year. I'm telling you that now, Dave. What's your take?
Well, before I get to my take, I want to just go ahead and preemptively say what Michael Swan's going to say. It doesn't matter because sooner or later the Eagles are going to blow it. We all know it's going to happen. It's inevitable. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, I'm happy as a pig in dirty diarrhea slop. Woo! Now, here's the thing. Let's not kid ourselves and act like the salary cap is a real thing. We get it. In theory, it's supposed to be there in order to make things fair amongst the other billionaires in this league. But let's cut the bull. This is there to help these rich billionaires continue to manage their money and continue to find the best way to option off which players they want in order to make their teams better. And Uncle Rodney's 100% right. Yeah, I could sit up there and give you a contract right now for $1 million, $1 billion, $gajillion dollars if you hit these markers. They did it to Prince. And you know, like that's just what it is. Like this is a hustle, and until folks realize that they're participating in that hustle, it's going to continue. But I'm thrilled right now.
But there are going to be some people who aren't so thrilled with the way the market's happening. Let's look at what happened with Marquise Hollywood Brown right now. Lamar Jackson last night was watching the draft along with everybody else. He saw Marquise Hollywood Brown literally get traded from his team, and he goes to Arizona. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is because what I realized is that literally about 5 or 10 minutes after that, Marquise Hollywood Brown's taking a picture with Arizona Cardinals ownership, and he didn't even tell his QB.
He's taking all of the information.
Be quiet. He take a picture with his QB. He's there. So now if he's their talent. What are we talking about right now where the players are not literally talking to each other, T? How we talking? The players ain't talking to each other, and now they going behind their own QB back. So, T, if you look at that, how you feeling about that?
First of all, we need to do a fundraiser for Figs Tourette's.
Yeah, exactly.
He scared the hell out of me. I mean, this right here is very fishy. I mean, I think that this goes to show you, I don't know how many times we use words like complacent, continuity, getting that flow as a team across the board with all sports.
Right.
And clearly, there's problems. There's problems with that. There's problems with team members and teammanship. Like people just, I don't think nobody's on the same page here. I think that everybody is out to get their own individual bag, and it don't even matter. I think we look at it different than they look at it. We look at it like, oh, they good together. That's the crazy trio, crazy dynamic duo. They look at it like, man, screw this team. How much you got?
Right.
Facts.
Isn't that
Exactly.
a problem?
Exactly.
Isn't that a problem? Like before that
I
never would
think
have
so.
happened. Right. The QB would have known, right? Am I wrong? The QB would have
Yeah,
known.
I
They
think
would
it's a problem for people like us on the outside who are looking at sports
Yeah.
very organically. We keep forgetting, and you know what's funny that we're doing this because people do it to us as comedians. You know, people don't take our job seriously, and because it's a form of entertainment, they just look at it solely from the entertainment side, not knowing it's a job. We're looking at it like from the entertainment side, not breaking down that this is individuals' jobs.
Yeah, I look at it like that. But Fig, if you're literally Lamar Jackson, right, and you see one of your star wide receivers get traded, and management does not approach you during, after, around the draft and tell you are you disgruntled because you got a contract you're ready to sign, you're in negotiation for your contract. How you look at it right now if you're Lamar Jackson? How you feeling about this right now?
Well, it's two sides to it. On the one hand, I sort of feel for Lamar Jackson because he needs quality. Like what do we talk about all the time? Lamar Jackson needs some quality receivers to be able to help the Baltimore Ravens out so they can do what it is they need to do. And this guy is his best friend. He gets traded. He gets traded to the point. It's almost like your wife divorced you, and then the day that she divorced you, you see her wedding photos. Like the very next day, it's like, oh, wait a minute. Like the ink ain't even dry. The problem is Lamar Jackson did this to himself, and I'm going to tell you why. How does your star receiver get paid while ownership is telling him we don't know what we can afford to pay you because Lamar Jackson hasn't negotiated his deal first, and we have to take care of him. And after we take care of him, then we'll take care of you. The star receiver is like, I don't know what Lamar's going to do. That's my boy, but I got to get mine. I got to look out for me. And he ends up on another team where he got a major contract.
Yeah, but the key point here is Rodney Perry is he requested to be traded at the end of last season and didn't tell Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson was completely in the black. All this he found out while watching the draft. Should Lamar Jackson, knowing this now, Rodney Perry, take this up and want to sign with Baltimore and get that huge extension? Or should he sit back and say, you know what? I see how y'all are moving right about now. I'm not liking the way y'all moving without talking to me. I'm the star. I'm the cornerstone of the Baltimore Ravens, and I think I want to explore things out elsewhere. How would you look at this, Rodney Perry?
It's not a soap opera. And I think you guys are painted like it's some sort of soap opera. I mean, it's black and white, dollars and cents. Quarterbacks get paid first, receivers second, defense guys way last, maybe a running back here or there. And how about this, guys? I mean, whether it's Lamar Jackson or Deshaun Watson, they've been doing this. You know, the league has been doing this. They have paid a quarterback and then demonize them for taking the money. You know, and so and it's all fictitious. It's all fake money because half of these contracts never get realized unless, of course, it's guaranteed. And so I think every time we bring up these contracts, it's designed to pit the guys against each other. It's designed to pit a wide receiver. I mean, we saw it with Aaron Rodgers, right? We saw the same thing. And my man had to get out to go get his own bag. So these receivers have to go out and do what they got to do for their own families, and you'll see, like we see in the NBA, more of these players really starting to have conversations with each other about playing together and doing what the NBA is doing. I think that's what's coming down the right.
I think I completely disagree with you, Rodney Perry, because I don't think I've ever recollected in my time where I've seen a wide receiver not talk to the QB and they didn't know that the dude requested to be out. I don't think I've ever seen that. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe
we saw it with Deshaun Watson, though, didn't we?
We saw it with Aaron Rodgers.
We saw it with Aaron Rodgers.
I'll repeat what I'm saying. I don't think I've ever seen where a QB and a wide receiver have not talked to each other and let each other know that they didn't want to play together. Because
we thought they were talking, but Aaron Rodgers was not talking to his guy.
Yeah, that's true. But Aaron Rodgers wasn't officially on. Well, I guess you're right. But for Marquise Brown, for Hollywood Brown, not to tell Lamar Jackson, I'll throw it to you, Mike. You tell me what you think. for Lamar Jackson not to know that he requested a trade, I don't think he requested. Nah, I don't think
Yo, I'm really keep the squares up. I'm really trying not to curse. Why on God's green earth do I have to report to you, dog? Why do I have to come to you and tell you that I don't want to play with the Ravens because I'm about to get a bag that's guaranteed for whatever, 30, 40 million? What type of, we're not married? Like, after you say that, say pause. Like, you need to talk to me. You need to come talk to me before you make a decision in your career. Devontae Adams was like, yo, I'm out. And he did that to, they say, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. This is business. Before everything else, before friendship, before everything. This is business. Let's remember, the average NFL career is going to last 4 years at the most. I ain't got time to worry about your feelings, Lamar. How about this, Lamar? Get an agent that's not your mother. Ooh, how about you do that? And if you think I'm going to wait because you're set for life. Lamar Jackson's set for life. I'm not. I'm not. I'm not going to sit around and be like, yo, I got to talk to Lamar Jackson before I make. No. And Lamar, how about this? I have an attitude if I was Hollywood too, because last year, all I heard was that Lamar Jackson had no weapons. That's all I heard. Now, all of a sudden, I'm valuable. I ain't hear Lamar Jackson go in front of the media and say I had weapons. I do have a weapon. All I heard is the whole team was based on Lamar Jackson. Now that I leave, oh, for real? You did have a weapon, didn't you? But you ain't say nothing about it last year. Oh, man.
I wish I had one of the buttons that go pum 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 pum, because that, like, you hit about five good dingers right there. Business bully. He brought up a great point about the business. The business side of these things right now, he's absolutely right. You got 3 years as a wide receiver. You could get injured tomorrow and everything's gone. Like, you're done.
Yep.
Like, and a lot of stuff is not guaranteed. So there's that. But on the same side, was there a line crossed between this QB wide receiver and management? How are you looking at it from the business side of things?
From a business perspective, I'm going to tell you what I tell my clients, what I tell anybody, what I told people in radio. I don't owe you an explanation because it's not up to you to put food on my family's table. I am going to do what's in the best interest of me as a business entity, point blank and period. And guess what? What if the quarterback, God forbid, gets in a car accident? What if the quarterback breaks his leg? Me having a conversation with him is a moot point. And oh, by the way, unless the quarterback is the GM, if the quarterback is the coach or the quarterback is an owner, then we can have a conversation about why I need to have a conversation with him, because the quarterback's damn sure ain't having a conversation with the offensive line, the water boy, or anybody damn else. Like this to me is real emotional. Remember football? Do y'all remember that? Because right now I feel like Victor Newman's going to show up and buy a team out of Genoa City in order for us to make this Young and the Restless soap opera go away. Like, at what point do we start saying this is transactional? It ain't personal. And you can learn that at any strip club from here to Atlanta and back.
Yeah, absolutely that. Go ahead, Fig.
I may sound really stupid here, but who's Victor Newman?
He's the protagonist of a soap opera called The Young and the Restless. Black grandma.
It was incredible. It was an incredible reference.
Thank you, Rodney.
My bad. I apologize.
Oh, no. You're good. I was raised by my grandmother, so I watched it.
Okay.
All the grandma's babies felt me on that.
I'm sorry, guys.
So, just because time is moving on, let me move on to the NBA real fast, and I'm gonna circle back to this right question. I'm sure we all saw, we were switching back and forth when we saw Chris Paul do some damage last night. But I'm gonna throw this out to you, talent, right now. Chris Paul got Devin Booker came off. Obviously, Chris Paul and the Phoenix Suns, they closed it out and everything else. But I'm gonna say this out here right now, T. I think the Pelicans put everybody on notice. I mean, that's my take from watching the series and everything else. If you're Chris Paul and your Phoenix Suns, are you concerned right now about moving when you move on to, because you didn't play your best basketball? You did last night, but you didn't play your best basketball in the first round. What's your take, Rodney? I mean, talent.
Yeah, I ain't got my shades on. No, listen, there is no notice to be put on. The only people who believe that is you and Mike Shaw. For some reason, you and Mike Shaw think that this Pelican team is, stacked with some potentials and stuff like that. I think, yes, when we talk about decent top 10 of the East, they're hovering in there, but nothing to be putting on notice and scaring the hell out of people, especially Chris Paul. You're not going to scare Phoenix. Phoenix, understand something. All of this is, again, with hobbled Devin Booker. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't get to come at you all cylinders firing either. You know what I mean? So you got to do what you got to do with us hobbled. So if that same result and you scared us and every game went to the wire and Devin was on the floor 24/7, that's when you put somebody on notice. Not when somebody at the emergency room waiting for results back from a Cats game.
Greg, was you impressed with Phoenix with the way they played out the series and the way they obviously balled, or were you sitting up there saying, y'all literally barely got by the Pelicans? What was your thoughts when you saw the series wrap up last night?
When the series first started, I thought Phoenix would blow the Pelicans out in 4 or 5 games. I didn't see the Pelicans giving them a hard time because they were severely undermanned. And the fact that the Pelicans was able to do what they do, we know that Brandon Ingram has arrived on the big stage and announced himself as an all-star, possibly a superstar talent. And, I know people say that Devin Booker was hobbled, but I mean, if Zion Williamson doesn't do like I think he's going to do, and he stays with that organization, they're going to be extremely formidable. We talk about Chris Paul like he's in his 20s. Chris Paul is damn near 40 years old. He ain't going to be around when them boys grow up 100%. Zion Williamson is a kid. You know what I mean? So by the time they, reach their full strength, Chris Paul is probably going to be doing something else. He won't be playing basketball. I doubt it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But at the same token, I'm going to say this, Rodney. I think they overused Chris Paul in this series. If that's a way to say it, I think he over-exasperated himself. I think he was used too much. I mean, I might be wrong, Rodney. When you looked at the Phoenix Suns, were you looking at Phoenix like, man, y'all should have did this a whole lot earlier because now y'all about to get into some problems. They got Dallas up next. What you think, Rodney?
I mean, I don't think Dallas is gonna pose them as big a problem. They had a real matchup issues with the Pelicans. And, I'm on record. I thought the Pelicans were going to stink up these playoffs, and they didn't. They came through without Zion. They did their thug thizzle. Brandon Ingram, like Fig said, the dude has arrived in a major way, and he provided some real matchup issues, coupled with the fact that Devin Booker goes down. So, I mean, what else does Chris Paul do? He step up, next man up, and he did that, and he broke a record last night, 14 straight shots. You can't be mad at the guy. He's a vet. He's clutch. He's prime time, and he proved it last night. Do he have a lot of time left? No, his clock is ticking. But I think he gonna go probably immediately into coaching right out of the NBA.
Yeah, Mike Sean, what was your take on looking at Phoenix the way they wrapped up the series and everything else last night?
No, I mean, I'm going to use adjectives that men don't use it with other men. Why? Chris Paul is a beautiful point guard to watch, yo. Like,
yeah, he is.
He's just excellent.
He did have a new haircut.
And the Pelicans are doing what every up-and-coming team does. The old school Detroit Pistons had to do it. Shaq and Kobe had to do it when they were getting swept out the playoffs by the Jazz. They're breaking in. But they met a team that is just better, smarter, and they met Chris Paul. Why Willie Green, who I think is a very good coach, didn't decide to basically double team Chris Paul half court and take the ball out of his hands, I will never know. Why he didn't force somebody else to run that team, I'll never know. But Chris Paul is absolutely amazing on how he has 6 or 7 spots that he goes to on the court every single time and takes you exactly where you want to go. And then and the only thing you can do is hope the ball doesn't go in. Mm-hmm. It's amazing what he does. I don't even like Chris Paul. I hate Chris Paul the way I hate Floyd Mayweather. I just respect that these two guys are geniuses at what they do. Like, I can't stand Chris Paul. But I hope we get to see Phoenix and Golden State. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I'm not one of the people. Go ahead.
I love how Mike tell you he hates you, but respect you. Mike at the bar. I hate all of you. Give him a drink.
I ain't gonna drink it.
Little punks. Look at them. Come in here, start trouble. Get 2 Hennessy's right here. These guys.
I just hope that we get to see Chris Paul go against Steph Curry. That's all I hope. I hope Golden State and Phoenix make it and nobody messes anything up, and we see them 2 teams in the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, I think it's headed that way. Bully, what you think?
I'm going to say this: the Pelicans, and I get it. Oh yeah, blah, blah. Let me tell you something. Do you know how women keep their hair in place? It's gel. No. It's gel, and weave. gel, and weave. The point of it is the Pelicans are going to be okay, but guess what? Not next year, maybe the year after. They need time to gel. They need time to figure each other out. And Phoenix, let me tell you something. You can say whatever you want about Chris Paul. He getting old. Absolutely. He's still younger than me. And listen, his game is young. He got young game. Because listen, I was entertained. I was highly entertained. I didn't even get up for my second round of popcorn. I was stuck watching that game. It was, I loved everything about it. I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. It's happening. Boom, there it is. Sorry. I loved it.
Frank,
Not really hyped on the Pelicans.
I'm watching the game last night. I'm watching the Sixers game last night. I'm flipping back and forth. It was close. It was neck and neck to the halftime, right? I said, well, let me just watch the draft. I think draft. If everybody watched a bit of draft, I turned back. The Sixers are up by 20, end up closing out. So I missed the whole thing of how they ramped up.
They were pretty close in the fourth quarter, too, going into the last 5 minutes. But, I mean, they just turned up the defense, got some steals, and next thing you know, they was down by 10. I mean, Chris Paul and those guys, it's something to be said for being a veteran. And Chris Paul is absolutely that. His game ain't young, though. Ain't nobody
Frank, I want to say something.
But Chris Paul.
Hey, listen, man. On another note, as a fan, as an avid basketball fan, I appreciate the emotion that Coach Willie Green showed after the game, man. He was almost in tears. That means this dude put his heart and soul into this team and into this game, this series and stuff like that. And as a fan, I love to see a player or definitely a coach be invested that much into what it is that we watching, because I know that's how the fans feel. So it's good to see that somebody else feels the same way that we do, especially if it's in our city.
Do we know why he was crying though, Fig? Because they alluded to the fact that him and Chris Paul had some like, because Chris Paul was crying too.
He used to be on the staff with Phoenix.
Right.
Him and the Phoenix coach for 25, 30 years. So that's how he knew them all. That's what it was.
But maybe Chris Paul was also in New Orleans too.
Yeah.
Or maybe he lost $700 on DraftKings too on the goddamn Pelicans. I don't know. Maybe.
All right, so let me talk about the Sixers. So I'm watching the Sixers game, T, and the Sixers are out. Like I said, the Sixers were tied neck to neck at halftime. I turned back from the end of drive. The Sixers ended up blowing them. They blow the doors off of them, everything else. But I still don't think the Sixers are ready for the Miami Heat. I don't care what nobody says. I just don't think the Sixers are there. I watched that series. Are you prepared to see the Sixers play the Miami Heat? Do you think the Sixers and James Harden now came alive, T? Talk to me. Tell me what your vibe is after you think the Sixers wrapped up that series, T.
Well, I think it's a seesaw. It's going to go up and down, seesaw, anybody's series. But what's going to happen is this reminds me of like football. You can have two teams that are super talented and stacked. The deck is stacked with players and athleticism. However, when that happens, now it comes down to coaching. The edge goes to the coaches. So you got Spoelstra, who I never really, for whatever reason, never really bought into him. I'm starting to come around to saying he probably might be actually a good coach, and he's going against the very doubted Doc Rivers. I think this is going to come down to last-minute coaching calls, substitutions and stuff like that, and timely timeouts, because it's going to be a seesaw. And nobody's running over nobody. They're going to battle. Make no mistake about it. There's an East Coast shoulder to shoulder, elbow to elbow basketball here.
All right, that's T's take. Fig, do you see Joel Embiid shining in this upcoming series against the Miami Heat?
Oh yeah, Joel Embiid is he's the truth, man. As a center who is multi-talented. Y'all know I like my centers back to back, being able to do it in the paint and just dominating. But Joel Embiid has a certain set of skill sets that's undeniable. This kid can shoot threes, free throws. He got a mid-range game. He can take you to the whole pause. He's just a monster, man. He's a monster player. And I gotta say, apology to all the negative talk about James Harden, man. James Harden did exactly what he needed to do to facilitate and get that team to the place that they needed to be, man. The dude's been 20 and 10. And as an NBA point guard, I mean, I know we like scoring, but as an NBA point guard, when you distribute the ball and you can still score 20 points and give up 10 plus assists, you're really helping facilitate and getting your other guys involved. And the more guys you have score on an NBA squad, the better it is for your team to have chances to win. So, I mean, James Harden ain't putting up 35, 40 points, but he's got assists and he's scoring at least 20 points. So he's at least formidable. I'd love to see this, man. This is going to be amazing. And Maxey, that's another young kid that's emerging as a star.
So that brings up the point, Rodney Perry. Did the Sixers win this trade? Obviously, did the Sixers up the trade? Because it seems like they did, because they moved on, and obviously the Nets didn't. So the Sixers are the better of the trade, right?
I mean, you got to say they are, as long as Ben Simmons is not on the court. But with James Harden, like Fig said, he showed up. Y'all bashed him yesterday. The man showed up, played his heart out last night. First quarter, double-digit scoring. But how about this? Joel Embiid is a freak of nature. He hurt his hand the other day. He went and got another hand. And nobody's talking about this Tyrese Maxey kid, man. That dude balled out yesterday. He's a little goofy, but it's a good goofy. He's got this goofy thing about him. But, man, I'm not totally sold on this Miami Heat. They're always great condition. They're always ready to fight, because Miami Heat is like, we might not win the game, but we'll win the fight. But I don't think nobody wants none of this Joel Embiid in the fight.
Okay, that's his take. Mike, do you think obviously the Sixers are the betterment of the trade, and the Sixers ready now for Miami? What's your take?
Well, it depends on what you rate the trade. Is it on the court or the runway? Because Simmons' outfits have been stellar. Even the green short suit, I had to be like, wow, I wouldn't have done it, but you took a chance.
Not at Boston, not against Boston.
Yeah, I think that was a stab at his own team. I will say the Sixers have to. I will say this. I'm not taking back anything I said about James Harden, because I told y'all he's the MVP of the first round of the playoffs. And get ready for his ta-da when he disappears the second round.
Wow.
Get ready. Get ready when it happens, because if there's one thing he's
going to take that back, Mike Sean. I promise you.
I promise you, if he had a hard time getting by the Toronto Raptors defense, wait till PJ Tucker locks in on him.
Yeah.
And wait till Jimmy Butler locks in on him. And wait till he gets around and he goes to the hole. Pause, and Bam is waiting for him.
Wait, hold up.
They can't lock in on him when they got this big Bubba gorilla.
I'm just telling you, their defense. What were you gonna say, Big? Go ahead.
I would say, isn't I thought Kyle Lowry and Jimmy Butler was injured, so they not playing. I ain't see they've been on the bench.
Jimmy Butler is good. Kyle Lowry is definitely injured.
That's why I didn't even mention. Their defense. Just everybody said a win, because one thing James Harden's always been consistent on is around this time in the playoffs.
Wow.
You'll see what he does. He'll break another record, go 0 for 27 from the 3-point line or something crazy.
He don't have to carry this team, Mike. It's different.
No, I mean, he doesn't have to carry this team. He doesn't. He really doesn't. But he'll come up short, because he's going to have to do more than just run the offense. Because you can't rely on a 20-year-old Maxey to now show up and be 24 points a game. You're going to need somebody.
Well,
so when that defense locks in, I'll see. Let's
ask the resident Sixer fan on the panel what he thinks. Dave.
Hi, Frank. I couldn't hear the nonsense. Let me ask you a question, Frank. Where are the Nets right now?
Home.
Oh, okay.
Oh, the second team he left.
No, I'm not talking about just Harden. I'm talking about the Sixers. They traded all these people. It's a stupid trade. Blah blah blah. But the Nets are at home, and I told you months ago that high yellow light skin wasn't going to do nothing but sit pretty like the 16th Kardashian that he is. So at the end of the day, ain't nobody. Listen, where's that level when you need him? Come on, son. Get the out of here with this. Let me tell you something. It's going to be great basketball. Miami is not blowing us out. And guess what? We're not dependent upon Harden, because we've got a guy who, with a broken thumb, is going to bring the ruckus. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. I'll see you at the end of this series.
Okay. You hear that? He put everybody on notice, T. You put everybody on notice.
You know, first of all, I hate when he wear that temple hat.
I hate on my hat.
When he put that temple hat, he goes straight Broad Street on your head. And I told you, and when you come down the block,
you're right. I be acting an ape. You're right. You're right. No, you're right.
Get him, Rock. Get out of there, Rock. He's a man. Listen, all I'm
You're
saying.
right. No, you're right.
He's murdering you.
When he throwing that temple hat,
You're
you
right.
get a real deal Broken Bell in Philadelphia. He come on.
You're right. I apologize.
You got the home court advantage. You know, home court is yours, and for that reason, you should.
Well, they actually don't.
That next series, you should. However, again, I'm telling you, I see good matchups that we're not thinking of in this series. That's going to make it come down, break it down to coaching. And I tell you one thing: if we talk about poise, you know, inadvertently, what we're not seeing, the real coach of Miami is Pat Riley. Pat Riley got that arm paused. That arm is up from the skybox doing this. And that's his puppet. Like, I've never seen somebody take from somebody and be able to execute it the way that person wants to execute. So we're going to be looking at the unfoldment of Pat Riley out there, the genius and thought process, playing through Spoelstra against Doc Rivers. Now, here's Doc Rivers' coaching flaw, and he's proven it team after team, time and time again. Doc Rivers does the cardinal sin when it comes to tight games and important games is he will relinquish duties to his star players. And that can bite you. Live by the sword, die by the sword. Even though they're good players, they need coaching brain. You know what I mean? And he will defer back and say, "Well, I got Paul George, I got Embiid, and he'll fall back when he should come up with something and let them boys out on that floor. And next thing you know, turnover or shot clock violation, and team win by some silly default play.
He's used to doing that. He's used to doing that because he won a championship with some guys that knew how to do that. You know, he had KG, he had Paul Pierce, you know, Ray Allen.
Yeah.
Like, he had some dudes that could take over a huddle and give you the X's and the O's.
All right, let's move on. I want to ask you guys all this. You know me and my Pelican briefs, right? I want to throw this Pelican brief out there and look at the faces y'all make. My Pelican brief is going to be, which might not be too ridiculous, is that the Brooklyn Nets right now, they got to come up with $248 million for Kyrie Irving. I'm going to say right now, for that extension, when he opts in, he's getting ready to opt in a couple of days. Once the playoffs are officially over, he has the opportunity to opt in, and it'll be a $248 million extension. Because of what's happening right now, I think, and the rant Kyrie Irving went on last night, I think Brooklyn's going to trade Kyrie Irving, bro. I think they're going to trade him. That's my hypothetical.
You know, if that happens, he's coming across the street.
No!
Yeah.
I guarantee you. He's not
that's
going
what I'm going to ask you. Where do you think he's going to go when he lands? Because if he opts, well, he's going to opt in.
Right.
If he opts in, do you think Brooklyn's going to keep him or trade him with that huge? Because they got to do something with their roster. What do you think they're going to do, T?
Well, I think that in my heart of hearts, I think they'll be sympathetic to his situation, back-to-back situations, as far as why he missed so many games this time around. Not due to really actual injuries, but to things for unforeseen circumstances. Now, if I'm wrong, and they do say, yeah, we're going to get rid of him and trade him, I guarantee he's not going far. I could almost guarantee if somebody was to tell me right now, for sure, yeah, we trading him, he come across the street. He's going down the block, guaranteed.
So you think he's going to land on the Knicks? Let me ask the Knicks fan on the Fig. You there? You with me?
Yeah, man. I was just reading, man. He only got $36 million for next year on his contract. That's all he got.
He's not going to opt in. He's not.
No, we're talking about extension.
Opt-in extension. Not talk about the remaining amount of contract. He has the remaining amount of contract. The exact story is right now, 5-year contract with the Brooklyn Nets. He's eligible. If he opts in, he's eligible for a 5-year contract with $248 million. And he gets to opt in the minute the season is officially over. Once that happens, guess what happens? He is now has the biggest contracts in the league, and also it hurts Brooklyn. So my question to you is, Fig, once he opts in, do you think he's going to be traded? And I personally think he will be. What's your take, Fig?
I just believe with all of the rhetoric that's around Kyrie prior and what he just said recently about he's going to get together with the ownership and the management and decide what they're going to do going forward. That just seemed a little presumptuous to me, man, because they would have been in a much better position had he made other choices. And he's not the most reliable basketball player. I mean, look, he's a grown man. You do what you want to do. I'm not even talking about the vaccination because that's a serious choice, but just some of the other decisions that he's made over the years, like a reason to not play for whatever reason that is. And then when you decide not to play, you don't tell your coach, you don't tell your teammates, you don't tell the ownership, you just take off. And it was like, yo, man, where's Kyrie? You call him up. He said, oh, yeah, I'm over here. For that reason alone, I don't think they keep him because billionaires are kind of funny. You know what I mean? If they paying you millions of dollars, they want you to sort of be accountable on some level. And we know for a fact Kyrie has never been that. So I think they might try and get rid of him, which could be a problem with them and Kevin Durant, but I think they get off of him.
Rodney Perry, do you think there's going to be a situation where Brooklyn has to move on from Kyrie Irving? Or do you think they sit there and say, once he opts in, we're going to try to figure this out with the little bit of pocket change we have to build out the rest of the roster?
I think they're going to blow the whole team up. I think that this experiment didn't work out. I think KD, Kyrie could both look to be somewhere else. And it might be best for them. They haven't had a chance to fully play together, but I feel like they're gonna blow this team up, man. And it's sad to see, but they never got to play. It's nobody's fault. I mean, we coming off a COVID year, coming off the bubble and all that, and people are really afraid. Kyrie being one of those guys. I think he was available when he was available. And I hear what you're saying, Fig, but I mean, this stuff is a lot of fear was involved. And now all of a sudden it's just over magically.
Ain't no woman like the one I got.
No, I think they're gonna blow the whole team up. That's
Mike, you've been saying this for a while, so obviously I think you kind of agree with this anyway. You don't think Kyrie or was it James Harden you said? But Mike,
no, I said they weren't going to play more than 3 years together. It was just obvious. They weren't going to play more. KD can't go anywhere. KD has to stay in Brooklyn. He'll look crazy.
Yep.
He has to stay in Brooklyn. He'll look crazy. Going
he
to
don't care.
Team.
He don't care though.
No, but
he
my
don't
thing,
care, though,
but he has his team. They're going to do whatever he wants to build a team.
Yeah.
They're going to do whatever he wants. He's never going to New York. Brooklyn would never trade and do the Knicks that favor. They will never do the Knicks that favor and send that guy to Madison Square Garden. Number two, and I hate to say, I salute Kyrie Irving on his stances he takes, on the stances that he takes. But I can't pay you and know that if something happens in the media or if some civil unrest happens that you're going to disappear, I can't extend you. I can't give you $200 million knowing that you have principles and that you may disappear.
I can't say you got principles.
It sounds crazy,
Yeah.
but it's the truth. I can't. You actually, Kyrie Irving actually understands there's something bigger in life than basketball.
I understand. I never. Let me tell you something. None of the women I slept with have standards.
Exactly.
I can't lay with you because you have standards.
You got standards. You realize there's something bigger than what's going on in basketball, and I can't count on you. Everybody else has got the gargles on. They're like, listen, man, it's all about basketball. It's all about basketball. I don't know where Kyrie's going to end up, but I don't think
I'd like to think that we all have a level of principle and standards, but if somebody's paying me over $200 million, I think I at least owe them a phone call if I'm not going to be there. A phone call. That's all we talking about. We ain't talking about get off your principles or your stand, but can you call me if you're not showing up to work?
How you know you didn't call, man?
Dave, what's your take of this, bro?
Real quick, Frank, how much incense, weed, and waste fees does $248 million buy? Like, I'm just trying to understand, like, where you get to the point where you can't even do and I am a huge Kyrie Irving fan. to my own detriment. But yeah, like you can take your flat earth, your bean pies, your jab stances, and all that other stuff. If I'm paying you, you better sing this. The world goes round and round. It's ball of confusion. That's what you better sing, because your ass has no business not showing up when I'm writing the checks. That's his problem, and for that reason, I think it only makes sense for the Nets to let him go. Now, who's going to pick him up? I don't know.
It ain't gonna be the Knicks.
Well, we know it ain't going to be the Knicks.
It ain't gonna be the Knicks. They didn't want him before. When KD was hurt, that's how KD and Kyrie didn't end up in New York, because the Knicks had to have Kyrie as the leader of their team while they were waiting for KD to get healthy, and the Knicks passed, and that's how they ended up in Brooklyn.
They'll take him. I'm telling you, they'll take him.
Hell no.
Fig, you don't know. You see what you're not dealing with reality. We are, as much as I love my team, the reality is we are probably the single-handed team in the most need of a pure point guard.
But he's not a pure point guard.
He's not a point guard.
He can play that point pure as best as any point. We don't have, we got forwards bringing the ball up.
Kyrie hasn't had an assist in 10 years.
You don't have to be an assist guy to be a point guard. A point guard is more than one thing, Fig. No,
that's a shooting guard you're talking about.
No, bro.
How you shoot it, Fig?
We got point guards in the history of the NBA that were good at assisting and not scorers and assistants.
Okay.
But either way, they still were point guards.
Just basketball. Point guards gets the team involved, floor general. Shooting guard is the one
taking a shot, though.
Shooting guard is the one that Shooting guard is the one that does the scoring.
We got an Instagram for this.
That's not what a shooting guard does.
He's not a true point guard.
Why do you think they call it a
what you
shooting
say.
guard?
He's not a point guard.
They call it a shooting guard because he shoots jumpers.
He's not a point guard.
The point can be an assist guy or a shooting guy and score. Don't matter, but you have to orchestrate the offense. That's all.
Talent. Everybody out there, they're gonna follow you this weekend. And
I'm hanging out with Kyrie.
Be arguing that.
I'll be at Kyrie's house, showing them the better parts of New York. Because the Knicks, when we get people, they always live up here by me. So I'm gonna show them the good part of New York with the squirrels and the chipmunks and the deer and stuff like that. Other than that, you can catch me at IKEA picking up the Business Bully, a new chair that fits.
It used to fit.
That chair, bro. You got you got this much over that second, boy. Congratulations on your weight loss, by the way.
Thank you.
Talent the Comedian, Instagram, bang.
Fig.
At Comedian Fig, all social media platforms, man. I'm going to Rodney Perry's next concert, man. Let me know when it is, Rodney. You look like a hell of a singer, god dog.
Rodney.
I am in Kansas City this weekend. The YouTube, follow the YouTube, Rodney Perry Live on YouTube.
Hey, where you playing in KC? Rod?
The Comedy Club at KC. It's actually in Kansas City, Kansas.
Got you.
Yeah.
Mike.
Yo, follow me at Mike Showing Comedy. I just want to know where Rodney found that chick for his little bit at the grocery store, because I got questions.
The video is crazy, right?
Yeah, I got quite a few questions. He must have auditioned her. I don't know.
She wasn't there. I don't know her. I just grabbed the video and then I cut myself into her video.
Hilarious, Dave.
Yo, at Business Bully TV on Instagram, the Business Bully everywhere else, and I'm going to be at the Claire where Rodney Perry got those women's sunglasses this weekend. So that's where I'm going to be. Thank you so much.
So, Tal, are you hosting?
Don't be a hater.
Yes, sir. I'm on deck.
Tal's on the deck, y'all, for Monday. He's hosting Monday, and then we're going to figure out the order for everybody else. We're going to promote everybody else, too. So we're going to see how Talent brings it in, because this weekend we got the NBA playoffs, of course, the rest of the NFL draft to talk about, a couple of hypotheticals and a couple of Pelican briefs. We're going to do all that. So right now, y'all, thank y'all for watching. Thank you all for participating. Thanks to Sharonda and Kevin for giving us the news to keep the show going. We appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good weekend. We out. It's called
We out, baby.
Seats.